Hey guys, welcome to the EMD TV channel. Today we're going to talk about
losing our house, actually.
Yes.
So we're coming up on the holiday season. Christmas is right around the corner for us. New Year's coming up next week. So there's a lot for us to be thankful about. But also we felt it might be best if we shared our own personal story of the loss of our recently purchased house. Share that with you all to kind of give some insight that things could be going bad for you, but everyone else could have it worse as well, and to be thankful for the things you have. So we figured that would be a great opener to kind of share that story, give you some insight on our daily lives. Go ahead, take it away.
So a little background. We bought our first home together back in May. Well, we started the process in May, but we actually closed on the house on August 2020. It was one of the biggest accomplishments, I mean, for me, for him himself, together, all the shenanigans. A year later, after putting our touch to it, getting it how we wanted, having our people over and all that stuff, we unfortunately lost everything to a flood.
Yeah, and it was actually a pipe burst that burst in the house. The background story of kind of how we found out about it is even more messed up.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and start plopping in images now of what we came home to. But essentially, we went on vacation for 5 days to Mexico for my younger sister's 21st birthday. We celebrated there for about 5 days, and we came home to this. As you see, there's water everywhere. It was a little pipe. I'll try to get a picture image of it because I don't think we have a video of the two, but it's a pipe that's connected to the toilet, the stop valve area of the toilet connected to the wall. That busted and apparently was leaking for what we estimate the whole 5 days.
It must have started as soon as we left, unfortunately. And this, it's not something you want to come back to after having a great time on vacation. After you look forward, okay, I want to go home. I want to sleep in my bed. Mind me, it was 10:30 at night when we arrived home, so that was even worse because you got home. There's nothing open. There's not you can hey, our house is flooded. Can you get here in the next hour or so? It was just basically we had to wait until everything was opening up, and it was a weekend when we returned. I think it was a
Thursday. It was a Thursday, yeah.
But nonetheless, it was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was devastating to say the least. When we approached the house, we had gotten an Uber from the airport, and we got to the house. We knew something was off because when we got there was water down our whole driveway. We have a lengthy driveway, fits 2 cars long ways, and water was already down to the sidewalk. And then when we got, there's an awning in the front of our house, there was just water dripping there when we got to the front door. So we thought something was off. We thought maybe we left the water running or something. And then when we opened the door, as you see, there's just water everywhere. Yeah. So what, I guess, for you, kind of, what was the initial emotions that you had when you just opened that door and saw everything?
I mean, first, as soon as I started walking in, like he said, and seeing awning, dripping water everywhere, I was like, Ivan, we left something on. That was my first thought. Like, oh shoot, we left something running while we were away. The house is getting flooded. As when I opened the door and saw all this water just running from the second floor, and the whole floor, at least 1 inch, I would say, of water.
About 2 inches in some areas, and an inch other areas.
I just start tearing up. I just knew that everything was gone. It was nothing that I've done at that moment that was gonna make it better. I just knew we just lost our home.
Yeah.
The worst feeling was it's like we didn't fully break it. You know what I mean? Like I said, we only owned the home for a year. But however, within that year, we were doing a lot of work to get to where we wanted. So it wasn't like we started taking advantage of the home as soon as we move in. No, we took a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication to get it how we wanted it, and we were just starting to enjoy it. And that was the most hurtful. Not only that, to me, within that year, we experienced a lot of great things. And to know that all that was in a matter of moments were gone, it was heartbreaking. Everything you had worked so hard it was just gone. They would just kind of rip it apart.
Yeah, when we got in there, we had our passports still from the plane, And when we got in, she was in such shock that she just dropped the passports on the floor and just started like looking up at the ceiling. Because as you see in some of these videos, they're vertical videos, but you'll be able to see water was coming from the ceiling and like the plaster was coming down onto the floor. All the flooring, since it's laminate flooring, it was all warped. Some parts were up, other parts were more swelled. And I just ran upstairs right away because I heard the water. I went, I identified the leak, turned the water off, but the damage was already done. Water was coming through the light fixtures, all of that stuff. So it was a huge shock, and you know, I was upset. I was more mad than anything, and myself personally, only because the home, Stephanie didn't mention, but our home was only a year old. It was a brand new construction home. It wasn't newly renovated. It wasn't anything. It was brand new, built in 2020, finished in 2020 of August. We received it in August. And then we lost it a year right after, a year and a week to the day. We lost it right after. And like Stephanie was mentioning, we did a lot of work to the outside of the home. Inside, really not so much because it was brand new, but a lot of work cutting down trees, gardening, growing grass to make it look like our own, putting fences up. We made our own pool back there that we put up, one of those Intech pools. All that we did, beautiful pathways, a whole list of things. So when you see that and then you realize, you come to the realization that you're not going to be able to enjoy that, at least for the near future, it really takes a lot out of you, and you kind of panic, don't know what to do. But
and it was hard because it's like a mix of emotions, because it's like we didn't have the time to digest it either. It was like, yes, I feel sad, I'm mad, but at the same time it's like I couldn't keep feeling sad. I couldn't keep crying because I needed to wake up and start thinking rational. Okay, so what do we do now? Like, who do we call? What's the next step? Like, we had no idea whatsoever where to start.
Yeah, there's not people that you can just go up to that say, hey, you lost your house. What are the steps to get it back? That kind of thing. It's not something that's common, at least where we're from. It's not something that a lot of people can relate to. So that's kind of the unknown was a lot to think about and was more stressful. But so who was the first phone call you made? I know who I called first, but who'd you call first?
My mom.
Called your mom.
I always, every time I have, I always call my mom.
And what was her reaction initially?
She just, at first she was confused. She just like, what, like I guess I was speaking too fast maybe, and I was crying, I was bawling out, so maybe my words were not coming out straight. She was just so confused what was going on. And I was like, also frustrated because at first she didn't pick up. And I was like, something happened to me, kind of like I was just frustrated, kind of like arguing with her at the same time. But after, I talked to her and I was just crying, trying to show her what was going on. She couldn't believe it. Her and my brother drove all the way from their house, which is 45 minutes away, to just come and help us out. They didn't realize on the phone how big the damages were until they actually saw it.
Yeah.
It was depressing. It was depressing to even look at it. They knew all the struggles and everything we went through to get it to where it was, and they seen it where it was at its highest. So for them to see it at its worst, also it hit them too.
Yeah. I called my dad first. He didn't answer. Him and my mom went with us to Mexico, so they had just landed as well. So it was to be expected. I think they were already trying to fall asleep. But I called my dad first. He didn't answer. Called my mom. She answered. I had her on FaceTime. I was like, I need you to pass the phone to my dad. Like, I need him to look at this. I don't know what's going on, because he's a handy guy, so maybe he would figure it out. And they just looked, saw the water everywhere, and just completely confused. And likewise, him and my cousin came to just look at it. They thought they were going to be able to dry back all the water out, but when they got there, it was no match. It was just so much water. It looks so insignificant in the videos because it looks like it's just 2 inches or 3 inches.
Yeah.
But that's on the first floor. The whole second floor was soaked, and all of the loading beams from the second floor to the first floor were completely just draining through to the first floor.
There was water dripping from the ceiling. The paint was falling off of all the furniture. He talked about the inside. We didn't do a lot of renovations or anything like that. Because true, yes, it was a new construction, but we had all new furniture.
Yeah.
So all of our new furniture that wasn't even a year old, because a lot of the things we got was
for the house
we received towards the end of 2020, so it wasn't even a year old, was already damaged, and it had no way of keeping it. Like, it was all gone. So needless to say, we lost a home, but we lost all of our furniture. So.
Yeah, the personal property, we accounted for all of it. It was about $30,000 worth of personal property, just furniture, anything we bought towards the house that was all new. So any interior design, all that stuff, that was a huge hit. And then, so we're kind of trying to bounce back from that now. Right now, we're in an apartment. As you can kind of see behind us, we have the door. Mm-hmm. But we do own a home. We are homeowners. It's just a matter of time before we can get back in there. As of recording this video, we mentioned it's the holidays, so it's actually a week from Christmas. I think today's December 20th, and we lost a home in August 26th is when we came home to that lost home. So it's been quite a few months. I think we're projected to be out until March, and we're just really eager and anxious to get back in there. And just to, again, pile on to what Stephanie was mentioning, we were so proud to be able to own the home. We were both younger than 30 years old, had owned a home that we can afford. We weren't, spending just so people can see that we can afford it. Like we actually were able to enjoy it. And we were the youngest homeowners on the entire block. We had older neighbors, and they were all impressed with how we kept the grounds of the house, everything. So all a huge shock, but needless to say, this all happens, and it kind of gives you a bigger picture type of thing where now we understand we lost the home. All we can do is look forward to getting it back. But in the meantime, too, it wasn't the worst thing that could have ever happened to us. We could have had a fire in the home, lost everything in the home because the water was touching.
Don't get us wrong. The point of this is not to point out like we're materialistic, I wouldn't say. It's just to show express like buying a home is a big deal. It's not something you would say, it's just one thing. No, and it's not about being materialistic. It's your home. It's where you plan to start a family, where you plan to live a life and experience a lot of things. We recently had gotten engaged months before. Literally a month before. Like all those little experiences that you were able to see this. So it's not just about what we lost, but it's also memories that were in there, that we're now not getting back. I mean, yes, they're on our head and our hearts, but the fact that none of the stuff that was there back then will be there now. So there's a lot of more feelings than just that. It is just something you worked so hard that you always wanted. Like personally, when I first started dating Ivan, he knew, like, I think a couple years after, like, I told him, like, I see myself buying a house within the next 2-3 years. Back then, he wasn't really ready for that, but I already had that in my mind and mindset as a set goal that that's what I wanted for myself. And knowing that and being able to accomplish that at an early age was such a huge accomplishment for me, for my family, for us. Then to lose it, it does hit hard. It's like I said, it's not about being materialistic or caring about material stuff. There's more to that than just that.
Yeah. So now we're back onto the road to recovery, I guess is what you would call it. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing or getting an understanding of dealing with that process with your home insurance and kind of what that would look like if you go through something like this and having an understanding, because it is important to know, but I don't know how many of you actually care to see that. But keep in mind that it could happen to you or a loved one, so maybe you would want the general education. But if that's something you're interested in, obviously let us know. But what we are interested in doing is documenting the recovery or the rehab process and kind of showing you guys back to the bare bones what it was and now what it's going to be, because we are hoping that we can make at least a minimal upgrade to the home, restore it, but also have it so it's a little bit of a minimal upgrade as well. And we think that will be interesting for you all because obviously it's content. I think it's fun to see, and it's always nice to see what something looked like when it was at its worst or lowest point and now what it is at a higher point. So we'd be more than happy to share that with you guys.
A good thing about that is, like, when we bought the home, we didn't get to pick any of the finishes that were in the house. We bought it as is, which was great. We loved it. But now, I guess the good side of like this, is we're gonna get to pick at least the minimum things that we can. Floor, countertops, cabinets, all these little things are gonna make it your own. Final touches. You're gonna be able to pick that ourselves, which we have started. And we're willing to, document that for you guys and add more content, and you guys can see the process on how we get to the finish line. So that's a good bright side about it. Unfortunately, we experience what we experience, but now we're coming in the brighter side of building the house that we dream of having one day.
Yeah, and also one of the biggest takeaways for me at that point was, yes, we lost the home, but it was nice to see how everyone, family related to me, those who care about me, who say they care about me, everyone stepped up in their own unique way, and I think that was a beautiful thing to see, because you don't really see it on the regular, or when you're doing well. Like her and myself, we're lucky enough that we're self-sufficient. We don't really need help from others at this point in time, although some will offer to help us. But at that one time where we needed the help, people who cared about us were there. Our family was there, parents were there, siblings were there, even friends. Some friends even offered, hey, can I just come talk to you, or come just sit next to you, and while stuff is getting ripped out of your house, do you need me to just be there? And that goes a long way, and that gesture goes a long way, especially when you're in that unknown or in that dark spot. So for you guys, you're going through your own struggles. All of us are. We wanted to share this story. We thought it'd be helpful for you all. But, try to stay positive. Try to see the positive in things. Yeah. And really lean on those people that say they care about you, because it will pay back. And those people who are there for you ultimately will help you through those tough times.
And for those who are watching and know who you are and that were there for us, from the bottom of our heart, we say thank you.
Yeah.
We don't know how, we appreciate you guys for doing what you guys did for us at that moment. Even if we didn't say at the moment in time what you did, trust me, we do appreciate it. We just had a lot going on, a lot to hold back to, and not too much to think about and move forward. But we do appreciate you guys. You guys know that, but just wanted to take the time to say thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to conclude our story time. It's a little bit of a sad one today, but I think we'll do story time every now and then. I think it's fun to do and just share experiences with one another. That way y'all can get connected with us just a bit more. Again, home series renovation is set to come. We'll try to keep some good content on that. And always, we'll see you guys next time for more challenges, more fun, more laughs, all that good stuff. All right?
Adios.
See y'all.